There are new claims that missing Teamster Jimmy Hoffa is buried in Oakland Township. But does that property have ties to suspected mafia leaders?
7 Action News investigator Bill Proctor has uncovered new information on this fascinating mystery. And Bill, what have you uncovered and found out today?
Well, we managed to find some land records. These land records that show suspected mob boss Jack Tocco and family once owned property in the very same area that our source tells us Hoffa's body can be found. It's a substantial residential-only parcel east of Adams and north of Buell in Oakland Township, the location where missing Teamster leader Jimmy Hoffa is buried, according to this man, Anthony Joseph Zerilli, who the FBI says was second in command of the local Detroit mob at one time. Zerilli was in prison at the time Hoffa disappeared, but experts say his mob ties give him a lot of credibility.
That would be enough to grant credibility for the agents to at least start taking an initial look at this to try to vet out his information. They'd be looking at things like, well, the property in question, who owned it at the time.
The 7 Action News investigators also looked into who owned the property at the time Hoffa disappeared in 1975. What we found was that in 1972, suspected mob boss Jack Tocco and family bought 45 acres of land here. And later, their ownership was moved into a Tocco family business and developed for 4,000 to 5,000 square foot homes on 2 to 5 acres each.
Reading yesterday that he was on property owned by a mafia person, we went, oh boy.
Tony Zerilli has pointed to a location not far from this spot where he says that Hoffa's body can be found. But there's a problem in that there are a number of high-priced houses and subdivisions near here that could in fact hinder a search. Claudia Hacker has lived here for many years and knew about the Tocco connection, and she laughs these days when she remembers joking years ago about Hoffa being buried nearby, but it's more than a notion now.
I'm not sure who wants closure more. Clearly after 30 years he's been legally declared dead. I think that it's possible he could be anywhere.
But why talk now after decades since Hoffa's disappearance? Zerilli is about to release a book on the Hoffa case and what he says he knows.
It certainly is a pause for concern for the FBI agents who are working this case. You know, what is his real motivation?
Certainly a good question. We reached out to the FBI, and for the moment, they're not really talking about what they have or haven't done. We also talked to Hoffa's daughter, who says that she has been down this road many times before, that Zerilli is, well, his quotes are somewhat loose on details, she says, and that she and her family want to let the FBI do its job, at least for now.
Okay, Bill, so the FBI now has this tip. What is their next move?
Well, they have several in mind, and yes, they do have specific things to do. They are not commenting specifically on where they are in it all, but former agents say that what happens next is that they reach out to Zerilli's attorney, who, by the way, also isn't telling us where everything is for the moment. And then they will likely polygraph Zerilli if he agrees to do that. And they'll look into land records, just as we did today.
And then at that point, we might see another dig as we've seen in the past, perhaps?
It's certainly possible because they are giving some credibility to this man. They know where he's been and what's up.
All right, thanks a lot, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.